You know what? So the thing is about my podcast and my YouTube podcast, I never really tell my guests that it's already being recorded.
Oh,
So it's very natural. I love to do that every time.
that's
So
good.
yeah, okay. Thank you very much, bro, for the chance and for the opportunity that you
You're
gave
welcome.
me. So of course, like the first step ever, please introduce yourself so everyone can know who you are.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan. I've been in Perth for about 4 years. I came in Perth 18 years old from France. It was a very hard time with COVID, but I've been able to make it. So here I am now with Luke on his podcast channel.
So before COVID, so it's like 2019, isn't it?
Just before COVID, the perfect time.
Oh, so
literally
almost
2019.
same. Oh, 2019.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I came here in February 2020.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
yes.
So
Because
it's
that's
like-
where I've met Luke
In-
throughout the pandemic.
Where?
Yeah.
I forgot where we met.
We met in
In the hostel.
the
right?
hostel that was on William Street.
Yeah.
Tuesday, which had the greatest deal in the pandemic I have ever seen in my entire lifetime. Probably the same price in Bali. you know?
Yeah, but it's in Perth, the context.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to talk about, friends, about hostel specifically. And that's also the reason why I couldn't meet Ryan, because it was like, yeah, during the pandemic. The reason why I moved, maybe first time I explain why I could be in the hostel first. Hey, that's why we could meet, right?
Yeah.
The reason why, because one of my Indonesian friends also told me there's a hostel to, like save up rent. Where I was staying, it was like in a rent house, and it was like 160 per week, and it was no job, during the COVID pandemic. So
Yeah.
everywhere that could give you like cheaper offer, go
You
for
take it.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
was like hostel, and okay, interesting. And then that's why I moved to the hostel, which is to stay accommodation, right?
Yeah.
That's when I met Ryan, and I didn't know that he's from France. But your background, like you're like fully French, or like like maybe some of.
Oh,
Like-
yeah. Not totally French. I think you can see Moroccan background for my father and
Yep.
Portuguese background for my mother.
Oh, okay. So actually,
Yeah,
like
so-
just born in France.
Yeah, pretty much
Okay.
quite multicultural, like
Cool,
my
cool.
country.
Yeah.
France is not completely French, I will say. Or
Yeah.
I will say it's multinational country nowadays.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody really respects each other in some way, similar to Australia,
Yeah.
which is why I was interested in coming here.
Cool.
Compared to the US, which felt a bit more scary, a bit
Yeah.
harder to get a visa from.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
But that's what I want to know also, like why and what makes you come to the hostel in the first place. Of
Yeah.
course, you're not coming to Australia straight. All right, I want to stay in a hostel. Of course not, right?
So when I came first in Australia,
Yeah.
I came with a minimum requirement that was $5,000 Australian dollars.
Okay.
So 3,000 euros that I've saved up
Uh-huh.
working everywhere. I pretty much have been able to get to the first hostel. That was a pretty new one.
Okay.
G Hostel. I'm
Oh,
not
yeah,
sure
I
if
know
you've
that
ever
one.
seen that. Yeah, it just opened, so there was
Okay.
great offers. And I didn't want it to get into the hassle of renting something without any history at 18 years old, not real work experience. When I went there, it was just quite practical for me to obviously get a place to live, get an address to get my bank details, to get my bills coming in. I've been able to at least get a sort of physical address. They did with some bad and some good, of course, that we'll go through
Yeah.
this podcast. But the main reason was probably, practicability. The fact it was
Easy for you.
quite easy
Okay.
to be able to get to somewhere and not worry about your house or
Okay.
having to rent somewhere and pay enormous amount of money for.
Okay. So for you, like maybe it's easier,
Yeah.
and then you just like, is it also like more adventure? Also like meet up with new people. It's easier to stay in a hostel. Were there any like that kind of reasons why you choose hostel, or just practically because it's easy?
It was easy. Of course, when I went to G Hostel, my first experience wasn't mostly around people because people were a little bit more secluded. It's when I started to move hostels, when I started meeting different people and understanding that some people are just absolutely amazing, and you meet some amazing friends that I've had still now.
Okay.
So it's also the fun side of it. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
When you of course go somewhere, you won't think, oh, I'm gonna make so much friends. That's probably
So that's the expectation, and normal people like.
Personally, I didn't have that expectation. I was just expecting, okay, I just want somewhere where I can relax and feel a little bit more chill, and then after the social part comes out.
Oh, okay. So for you personally, you don't really have the expectation to get along with the new friends straight away. Hey, you just focus on yourself first. Take it easy. You settle down. Make sure everything already secured, like your bills or whatever, maybe jobs.
Exactly.
And then when you think, all right, I'm already set up with myself, then I want to make new friends. That's what you did in Hostel GA.
Technically, yeah.
Okay.
It feels a bit like a social anxiety. When I came to my first room, I had no one in there. So I felt like, oh my God, that's so good. And then I started to have people coming in.
Yeah.
It felt very weird. Bear in mind, I'm an only child, so I'm not used to being obviously living
you don't
with
have any
people.
siblings, eh?
No. So
Okay.
for me, it was a bit of a slight social anxiety, but it started to wear off with time.
Okay.
And by meeting some great people that I've met in my room.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. Look, as much as there was a lot of good side of it,
Okay.
some bad side will go through.
But that was in Hostel G, and then you moved to two-stay accommodation in March, April?
So Hostel G, if I could put a date to it, so I arrived in April 2019, on the 1st of April.
Okay.
So that's when I firstly stayed at. Then after that, I went to another hostel that was located on Brisbane Street in Northbridge.
Okay.
I won't be able to remember it if I was to look online.
Maybe I can put it on the
find
screen. You can text me later exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
Address,
yeah, you guys will probably see that pop up now. So that hostel was just really great. One negative point, and that's something I haven't checked, is that Hostel G, even if it was new and pretty cheap, it didn't have a kitchen. But it had a restaurant inside, which was very silly because that's the whole point of hostels. You want to be able to cook your own food and save up that money and not spend it in the
restaurant
sort of restaurant that they created. So the only way for me to eat in the hostel was by boiling noodles or going outside and spend all my hard-earned money.
But that was in Hostel G, right?
Only in Hostel G. Don't understand why.
And then you moved to another hostel, which is on Brisbane Street.
Yes.
That was like 6 months after? Or?
Yes. And the reason why is, as much as it was quite appealing, it's a great hostel, one bad thing that happened in that hostel, bear in mind, it's brand new, so I didn't expect that to happen.
Okay.
I pretty much had my shoes absolutely soaking wet because it was raining during one day of April in 2019. And when I came back, I left my shoes outside of my doors.
You want to dry it up naturally, eh?
Correct.
Yeah.
So when you enter into that hostel, you do have to get through a few different sort of, security gates to get to your hallway, to get to your room.
Yeah.
So you even have a security sort of pass that you have to do to get to the hallway.
Yeah.
Next day, just the shoes were in there, and they were really nice branded
really?
Nike shoes.
Oh,
I was so sad. I went to reception, asked them, "Do you guys have a camera on the hallway?"
And then what they said?
No.
Oh.
So literally, that was something silly. For me, it looked really new, so I expected, of course, to feel quite safe.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, that's where I wasn't. The rest of the hostels were most likely fine. There was always stuff happening.
Yeah.
But luckily not to me. I had a MacBook with me. I had an iPhone, so I used to have my MacBook underneath my pillow.
Oh, okay.
That I couldn't hide it anywhere else. In other hostels, you don't always have lockers.
Yeah.
So never got it stolen, luckily.
So I mean, like, of course, like plus and minus in every hostel, right?
Yeah.
Like what I just didn't know that before you were actually just one only child. You don't have any siblings, and then you have like this social anxiety, of course, because you never really had the experience sharing rooms. You know, even like maybe during your whole life at your home, you don't have any siblings, right?
Yeah.
But somehow you can still manage to live in a hostel, you know, like out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
When you were still 18 years old. It must be like Australia still one of your first countries abroad.
Yeah.
You don't really go out that much by yourself. And
No.
you had the experience like in a hostel, like you expecting, all right, new hostels, there should be good, should be safe. And then there you go, you lost your shoes.
Exactly.
But but of course, there's always good and bad. But what do you think about those experiences in your personal journey? Like, for example, how you handle issues, how you handle these kind of things. Like, it never happened before in your life. You never expected these things, you know. Of course, you always think positive, but sometimes life, of course, life obviously always never really happen what we imagined before. So, how did you manage to face all these things? Because totally different with your country, different languages, different people, how to deal with the problems.
Oh, correctly. Look, it's even more than that extent. It extends to actually a bit more. Yeah, pretty much. I used to leave, of course, more with rose-tinted glasses, being young.
Yeah, and then comfort,
protected, comfort.
Everything maybe already settled or already prepared.
You don't have a problem really, you know. My mum looked after me the best way she could, so that's something I'm grateful for. But however, in real life, when you get to live by yourself,
travel like that, you know,
I'd say the first thing is, of course, you know, cooking. You know, it's something so essential.
Cooking, you don't ever underestimate about cooking,
Exactly. I did underestimate that very easily, but I had to learn when I was going through hard times, because otherwise you can't eat. And I had to cook some sort of healthy food to get enough sort of nutrients in my body, rather than just eating bowls of noodles. It's probably the easiest
or pasta.
ones. Yeah. Pasta was still good. I think, look, pasta is underestimated. You know, I think it still brings you some sort of nutrient rather than noodles.
Yeah.
But in the end, you do have to learn for men to man up, for an adult to adult up a little bit more in your life, and understand that nothing is ever gonna be done for you. Okay. So for me, that was probably the hardest thing to understand.
Cooking.
Yeah, cooking, and also that can be laundry. That's silly, you know. As a man, we don't. Something to say.
Because, you know, like me too. Like back in my country, laundry. Of course, we have our own system, right? Or maybe we have our own machine, different setup, you know, different, let's say even different detergent. It's completely different, like the style and everything. Like which right? And then now like you have to share with other people, and that maybe your clothes stolen, you know, like maybe stuck in the dryer, and then like your pair of socks that you only have like half of them, and then the other half pair is like gone, and then every time you do a laundry, like it's happened. So you have to buy. So a lot of small, silly detail things that you have to struggle.
Exactly. So I did struggle a lot in the beginning.
And we use coins, isn't it? Like coins.
It was coins as well. So if you don't have coins, if you're used to Apple Pay or any of these sort of new things that makes life easier, and also spending more money.
Yeah, actually,
that's on the other side. Yeah.
So like cooking and then laundry is all about again like how you spend your money, and that if you don't have that strategy, okay, let's say once a week, like I still remember like the washer, like $1 30 minutes. $1 $2.
I think it was like that.
Something like that. And then if you want to wash like in bulk, so you have to use 2 machines maybe, and then the dryer only 1 dryer maybe. Or even they have like 3 dryers, maybe 2 of the dryers broken, because you know backpackers sometimes they put everything they want, like shoes, that you can't put shoes in the dryer, bro. Like let's say working boots, and then gonna destroy the machine. It didn't happen. You don't know?
I did that personally.
Oh, look at that! Someone's just admitting his past mistakes. Okay.
I still don't know that was a bad thing. So I just learned something new. You know, you always learn.
I mean, this is kind of bit like why I want to make this podcast as well about the hostel, because you know, like it's so far from your comfort zone. You know, like if you want to travel and then if you want to stay in a hostel, don't ever expect that you're gonna have a very comfort life, a very easy life. You have to always remember that, you know, because some people, like, maybe they can think they can still have a good life in a hostel, but bro, like,
it's exactly. So if you go back to your point, getting out of your comfort zone, I think it should be one of the first criteria about coming to a new country doing a working holiday visa. Because as much as holiday is part of the name of that visa, it's not really about a holiday, apart if you've saved all the money you could and you just want to travel around, which I met some people that just saved all their money, bought a van, traveled around Australia, already had everything almost budgeted and extra amount of cash. But apart from that, which is probably 10%, we come here to make money. That comes down to that. So getting out of your comfort zone should be a first thing you should talk to yourself about if you're considering coming to Australia mainly, because it's completely different. It doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that it requires a lot of thoughts and a lot of mental preparation with yourself.
That's a good point. Mental,
yeah.
Stressed out. Some people like can't handle their own stress level, and then they're stuck, and then they just realize, what did I do? Like, why did I come to Australia? Like, bro, like you've spent literally, let's say, 6 months already, and you just realize, oh, okay, that's interesting.
Exactly. You know, I will say you still have to understand that nothing is going to be perfect when you come here, but you just come here to enjoy your time and not worry all the time about these things. You know, I'm someone, like I said earlier, that has some sort of social anxiety that can be a bit more secluded, introverted, if you want to say, but I deal with stress very, very well. It's just all underneath my head, under my head, and just trying to make things a little bit less
complicated. Okay, cool. I want to talk about the next hostel, of course, to stay accommodation where I met you.
Yes.
So, what interesting, fellas, because this hostel, it's so cheap. Like back in the COVID period, I still remember. So the room that I stay in, because it's different. He stay in the double room, so he's only sharing with his one friend. For me, like two friends, so there are like 3 people, including me. I paid actually I think like $80 Australian dollars a week, which is no 80 or 70, maybe something like that.
Did you?
Yeah, it's because it's like three people inside, 3 people in a bedroom in one room.
I think they brought up the prices as well when we were there
back in 2020.
Yeah.
How much you pay for your double room?
So me and my friend. We wanted to find a hostel that was pretty cheap. And when I seen that hostel, I seen, if my memory is right, that it was about $100 a week for a double room.
Oh, makes sense, because just
$50.
Just 2 of you, right?
Yeah, $50 each. I think we paid.
Yeah,
we paid nothing.
Yeah,
we paid like 50 or 70 probably. But I reckon they've brought up those prices. If my memory goes.
Oh yeah. So they increased 6 months after. Yeah,
I think they did, but it was still so cheap. Like I could just live my life so easily and peacefully without, paying so much money for my rent. I used to leave when COVID hit. The person I met here, my partner, pretty much lived with her. She was in an unfortunate situation because she had a roommate, so that was not what she wanted to do, but she wanted to keep me safe during COVID. And of course, normally we came to conclusion that I wanted to go into a hostel, let them have as well their own life. I don't want to just intervene like that, even if I paid rent. I've actually preferred being in that hostel, saving that much money, because it was so cheap, even cheaper than just sharing those costs. And it was cool because I was still close to the city and I had so much good things. So honestly, if the people from Tuesday hear that, you guys were the best. You saved everybody's life, I reckon.
So in total, how many months you stay in Tuesday?
Heaps. I wouldn't even think about it.
But
It's
for just
probably
the
good.
to stay accommodation, like 8 months, no more, less.
About 6 to 8 months, because my partner then had her own studio.
Uh-huh.
I paid more money going there, so it wasn't good, but I didn't care. They wanted to leave with my partner, so
Yeah.
because she rented a studio, I then moved out from that place.
Okay.
The reason why I chose that was because my friend was FIFO,
Oh yeah.
so Pierre was
Beer.
going all the time. So I had
Yeah.
just a room for myself for nothing, and I said to him, "Look, if you pay that, it's cheap as hell,
Yeah.
and secondly, you can keep your stuff inside.
Yeah.
You know, it's me, so it's super safe."
Yeah.
And
He didn't want it, in the end.
which one?
Pierre? Oh, he's still paying the room.
Yeah, it's still paying the room, you know,
Okay.
because when he comes back from his shifts,
Yeah,
he
true.
has somewhere to sleep,
Yeah.
but he
Yeah.
has someone as well to look to make
After
sure.
his belongings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So that was a really clever idea for me, and I'm very proud of that.
Yeah, so because you all know as well in Perth, like 5-4 is so common. People, even the backpackers,
Yeah.
we're working 5-4 and like 2-1, 1-1, or 8-6, or shutdown. So hostel is one of the best option because personally, like Rayan roommate, doing 5-4, me as well doing 5-4. Can you imagine like if you share with your friends? You can save up like half the price, or you can trust your belongings to your roommates. Or for me personally, like put it in storage, and then you only pay whenever you stay. Like there's like always flexibility in the hostel. That's
Yeah.
what. And then if you talk about like the society, like what Rain told me as well, like what I'm trying to tell you as well, like in the hostel, you're always having like these new friends, new funds, and of course like plus minus you can get like your stuff belongings stolen. Of course there's always like something you always
Yeah.
have to take care extra, your own safety and your own your own belongings. But in general, like that's also like what I want to ask you. After like let's say in total 1.5 years, let's say, or 2 years, you used to stay in hostel.
Yeah.
Above the plus and minus, would you recommend all the newcomers, all the new backpackers that want to come in Australia, maybe mainly like Asian, because maybe European is easier. European is like more open because you with the travel culture, maybe European is more normal, more common. But for us
Yeah.
Asian, we completely different background. You know, we are more in our home, never really going out.
That's true.
So, but you still recommend us to come and stay in the hostel, or what do you? What is your opinion about it?
So my opinion is very it's quite wide. I will probably advise still people to go into hostels for the fact that it's just quite easy, obviously, you know, to get into a country, to then get your address and everything else sorted. That's a really good way. Going to agencies if you guys are looking to go to FIFO, and doing the relevant stuff like licenses that you need to get, white card and everything else. So the hostel will give you that good side of it. I believe for people that do FIFO, that got a job in FIFO, and of course that are going on shifts, the downside of hostels sometimes can be that I was very lucky to be put in a position where I could have a single room with 2 single beds inside that was completely locked. So it was me and my friend. My friend knew me. My friend knew that I wasn't a person that would have stole his, I don't know, if he had a laptop, stole a laptop from him or steal anything. And you will see yourself in situations in hostels where you have a room of 6 people.
Yeah.
And that's a different story.
8
because
people, even sometimes 10.
if you go on trip for a week, even just 1 week, which sometimes you can do 2 weeks or more, is it really safe for your, you know, your suitcase, your clothes, your stuff to be there? No. I will advise for FIFO people to probably try, after staying in a hostel, getting to know more people and getting to know a bit about the world you guys live in, to find potentially a share house where you can pay for your own room or share it with someone that you know you can trust, and therefore leave your belongings there, know you're safe. If you do want to live in a city and work in a city, hostels are going to be a great way to get your life around and do the things you need to do and find a
True.
I don't know, a job in a restaurant or
True.
construction.
Because hostel in the city, like pretty much everything already there. The bus is free, and then it's just maybe 15 minutes walk away. The distance.
Yeah. What I wouldn't recommend to anybody is to rent their own apartment, to rent their house. The reason being is the market at this stage, and mostly in Perth, and Perth is actually quite easy compared to the rest of them, because example in Sydney, the average house is $1.5 million. So that's the.
Well, we're talking about just the rent. Share house and share room, right?
Yeah, so Sydney is expensive. If you want to go to Sydney and live there, you're not gonna rent something for
180 per week now.
Yeah, 800, 1,000 for an apartment in Sydney CBD. Something like that. So it's just so expensive, even still in Perth, that renting an actual place from a real estate agency, even if you have your friends or anything else, it's just a bid that you guys gonna get into, that you guys gonna need to put more money down, and then you gotta have securities. It's just too stressful. Try and go to I think the website is called Flatmates.
Flatmate, yeah.
We're not sponsored by them.
Yeah, but we just want to help people.
This is literally, we're probably going to have hopefully a link below or something around here.
Or just
Google. Or just if you Google Flatmate, it's a great website. It shows you all, sort of
information and then
rooms you can rent, and OBC is good mostly if you want to know what the market is before coming to Australia, because you can just OBC sign up and see the prices. Now the best way of the best is probably through Facebook groups, mostly with your respective country, probably Indonesia in Perth. You guys might have one. We have French in Perth, and any other countries will be exactly similar. I really will advise going towards that. I found my share house as well there. So
let's say like in a hostel, what you're saying, what I get from your opinion, hostel is very good just for temporary. Let's say when you don't have that much share house chances, let's say it's full or it's still not available, or staying in a hostel, getting your white card or getting your Commonwealth Bank, like Millennium Bank account or TFN for the first 2 months.
Yeah, your phone as well.
Yeah, because it's in city, right? In city, you don't have to worry about the bus because it's free, right? Yeah. And then it's just go to the station to get your public transport card. Transport is also easy, just 5 minutes walking. But then when let's say you got your FIFO jobs, then you can start to find in the share house, right? Because that's when you want to have your own space to put your stuff instead of being stolen.
100%.
Like 6 people or 8 people in a room that you don't know him, you don't know her. Yeah, it's very dangerous, eh?
Exactly. Like I said, I think people that wants to work inside the city in construction, in waiter jobs or anything quite easy, something maybe that that you're professional in, that you can bring your knowledge in Perth. Stay in a hostel if you want to save some money, and if your roommates are safe, you can definitely stay in a hostel. It's probably easier and cheaper. However, if you like your private space at one point, or you are FIFO and you're just not there, so you can't check on all of those things. Don't bring yourself too much anxiety. And like I said earlier, invest in yourself, and having your own room in that situation can help.
But talking about your anxiety, so there's a big point that I want to put a bit highlight, because again, you are like one person, like you don't have any siblings, and then you're 18 years old. Yeah. And then there's a lot of people, like, say, not making excuses, but they have their own reasons. Like they don't want to stay in hostel because, let's say, they're introvert, right? They're introvert, which is not wrong, again. Then maybe people don't have their social skill that much, they can just say hi, some people in the kitchen when they're like washing dishes, and then just having a small chit chat. Not everyone can do that.
It's true.
Maybe you have that experience, and then you can, you've had it, everything, and then you still survive somehow, right? Yeah. And then I can tell, like, you're very success, getting out of your comfort zone. Like I think you've changed a lot. Maybe like, let's say you flashback from 4 years ago or 5 years ago, your current state, your current version, and let's say your version 5 years ago, completely level up, right?
Yeah.
You've been through all those things. So I just want to just say like don't feel like burden, or don't feel like you're not gonna be capable enough to stay in a hostel because your social skill that minimum,
Yeah.
because you kind of bit like showing up to us now at the moment.
It's true.
Living testimony.
Yeah. It's definitely true, you know. Also, you can think, well, when you're in the hostel, you can think, I'm from Paris. So I'm from a city that shows you the
glamorous,
best life, the
best
most
life.
glamorous life, the most luxurious things in the world.
Yeah.
You know, the most beautiful things that you can see but can't touch. So you do, of course, you know, sometimes feel some sort of expectation. I want to have my own, you know, my own apartment. I want to have this, you know, and kind of
your own
not get
shower.
angry,
Let's say
but
your own shower.
yeah, even your own shower. But you just gotta remember that at the end of the day, when you come to a country that you know no one, you know, you gotta push yourself out and get off your comfort zone. And like I said earlier, that's my advice. I feel like you should really think about it at home while you are with your family and everyone. Obviously talk to your family about it. That's quite important as well, but talk to yourself first and check with yourself if you want to get out of your comfort zone. And if you want to, you got to push yourself. You know, you got to book the hostel that you don't want to take. You got to go to the place that you don't want to go to, that you feel like you're going to fail. Because if you don't try, you don't know. And you got to push your boundaries to get out of your comfort zone. It's not just about thinking. It's just about as well doing and pushing yourself. It's there was a lot of moments I felt quite sad or, you know, a bit depressed, and if I didn't push myself up, you know, I wouldn't be where I am now. I'd probably be back to France just doing what I'm doing.
You can just I mean, like, you can decide to come back to Paris, right? You can do that. Let's say when you're depressed or you felt like you failed, but you didn't choose that, right?
No.
You don't give up, right?
I was at times where we had no jobs because those jobs were handed out to obviously citizens, which is normal, and PR people, which is normal because they need obviously their country to work. And look, we were a minority. So at the end of the day, I wouldn't take that, you know, away from Australia. You know, I think as well in our own respective country, we rather will give work to our citizens, pure citizens, than of course, you know, people that are just there temporarily. Let's see it that way. Now,
from objective perspective,
exactly.
From objective perspective.
Moments where you have $100 a week and you gain nothing, or you make no money, and you gotta take all your savings, and you don't have much money in the bank. You're not checking the bank every day.
Stress.
I used to have Uber Eats. I used to cash out my money every day to get it the next day. So I was in these times where I was stressed, and I had my family over the phone, my mom over the phone, just sometimes like telling me, if that continues to happen, you need to come home.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So your mom actually know about it?
Yeah, of course, because you have to be honest. But if you don't push yourself, you're not gonna get anywhere. And that's, it's not that you're not gonna get anywhere. It's that you're not gonna see what you could have done better.
That's good, man. That's really nice insight.
It's true, and that's what I believe in. It's a pure mystery.
Okay.
I will never know what life is tomorrow or in.
And that's what happened in the hostel. You learn it from the hostel. Like each day, you just know what happened today, and then what happened tomorrow. Tomorrow comes tomorrow.
Exactly. Exactly.
All
it's
right.
very important.
So you had a very great memories regarding all this. Sometimes all the bad stuff that happened in the hostel.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So what is the funniest moments that you've had? Maybe like you just can't believe it. Like, what the heck just happened now? Like in the hostel, like maybe, you know, I mean, like, don't get too extreme, you know? Yeah. Let's say like in some normal funny moments, let's say your friends, hiding something, or one of your belongings maybe, or I don't know, like, when you had like this, because sometimes we had a party, right? Remember, in the hostel back in the days, we had those, I think every weekend, every Friday night or Saturday night, people turn on their music and then drink on the balcony.
Exactly. Enjoy yourself, have a couple of drinks. I feel like, look, my best moments is, of course, always memorized with my head. I've never been able to film these sort of moments.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I had a lot of extreme funny moments
Okay.
that I'm not going to talk about because there will not be your
Yeah.
channel will be banned.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. So pretty much the biggest thing, I think, the best memories, the best
Yeah, you can
moments
tell like maybe
is
the best.
before COVID. First of all, when you get out with all your friends, you know, having a laugh on the streets, going through different nightclubs, enjoying yourself, feeling alive is probably my best moments, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I cannot say I couldn't agree more than that. Like, you know, from yeah, I think
yeah,
there's one time it was in Tuesday when we had these drinks in one of the in the Jagen Square. Were you there? Like there's like all these friends. Like it was still like $5 pint.
yes.
That
I've
place?
been to that place. Have you been to that place?
Yeah, like many times, but I think you weren't there during that particular
Oh,
time.
I don't think I was.
Yeah, it was like really nice. I get what you mean, like moving from one place to another place, and then
Yeah, and just bar hopping.
yeah,
Bar hopping to different bars, but for us was just making sure that, you know, everyone was going to enjoy themselves, and even it was to the point where you didn't even need it to think about it. You were just literally there to enjoy, and having all those people giving you all this love and all these good vibes and energy, and that made my time so much more enjoyable. And as much as I'm an only child, crippled sometimes by social anxiety or not knowing what to do when I don't know, it's obviously quite a good thing, you know, for me. I felt quite happy that I pushed myself that far, and you just think about all the good moments, you know. I do miss some people that were, of course, in here, but sometimes people have to go, of course, you know, and do
I think there's also the bad sides of, not bad, I mean like the consequence when you staying in a hostel. People come and go, you know, like because we're backpackers, we're moving around. Maybe people will find their, oh, sheesh, I want to stay in Australia. Then they have a long-term plan. But some people don't. When they're like, I want to travel. So what they're planning on their minds just work, and then they want to travel.
Yeah.
But some moments you had a very great moment with them, and then you felt like, oh, you're gonna go back to your home, or maybe you're gonna travel to another countries.
Exactly.
That's also like people. I don't know if we can say suffer. Like I don't know. Maybe it's too extreme.
Yeah.
Struggle maybe. Struggle because you know Australia's some people like line of opportunity. Let's say they want to build career. But some people like, again, travel. So we have to focus with our own vision, mission, with our own life.
Yeah, exactly. You know, when I met a couple of people, there's a couple of times I felt really sad inside that they were going.
Yeah.
Because you spend all that time with them, building all that great relationship that
man.
You just think sometimes,
even the silly things that like just cooking in the kitchen or sharing and like talking shit, random stuff until midnight, even until the next morning. All those things that you couldn't believe, like, wow, now my life is like this, you know, like I'm talking to, let's say, Italian guy and then African girl, and then I came from Indonesia. Let's say, I have to be admitted, like this is something that is this even? I have to poke myself, bro. Like, like we all different passport in a room, you know. Like there's one time we singing together, and then we drunk together, you know, in the kitchen or in the living room. Before it was, oh man, like just fantastic stories, bro, like memories. But now, the sad part is like it's just memories, because now we don't even know like where they are now.
It's true. No, it's true. It's true. Look, it's something when you obviously get to that point of staying in a hostel long enough to get to know a lot of people. Yeah, it feels definitely quite sad. I'd say the people that can be a bit creepy as well in this hostel. Creepy. You know, you can have, not everybody is. I never try to judge a book by its cover. When I was in hostels, I've seen people that for me, I thought, oh my God, did you know, I've seen people that I thought to myself, oh my God, like how the hell did you ended up here? And they were actually lovely people. They were just people I just overlooked at and put an opinion on, but I've actually had really good times with them, and every time they sat outside, I sat with them having a chat, and they've always been lovely people. So I'll never really try to judge a book by its cover, or try to be mean to people for no reason.
I know, but you still have to be precaution sometimes. Some people, like you don't know, like
I'm a pretty I'm a pretty easy guy, so I will never think of
always
these
like
things. But I get your point. You do have to stay obviously safe. You know, if you see something not normal, report it. Talk about it. Don't just hide it or think,
You have to always know that consequences. There's always something in everything. And the hostel, of course, is inevitable where there's chance, of course, like higher to find people that we don't know their backgrounds, their motivation. But you always, like you said, stay positive. And when you see all these signs that you can tell, like, all right, this is something a bit already dodgy, you know, like just yell out, hey, just report to the admin, to the staff. And I think every hostel has to be that like a procedure, like their tenants' safety is number one priority, right? Even though like let's say sometimes like a fire alarm, you know, that's happened a lot of time in Tuesday. You know, the fire alarm always.
I think
like every 4 months, I think, or every 3 months, in the middle of night, in the middle of afternoon. Like some people still have shower and then they go out with their with the towels on. Like
that's crazy.
I still remember that. Funny stories, funny memories.
Tell me.
Huh?
Your turn.
That's one of the funny moment that I still remember, like when we had this drunk moment, you know, one of those weekends, and then there was this particular Korean guy. He's funny, man. Like he's funny.
Yeah.
I couldn't say name, of course. Like know.
Are we talking about the same
person?
Yes, I remember. He's so lovely.
Yeah. So he's a good guy. He's a good guy. But when he gets drunk, it's so funny. He's trying to flirting with girls, and what's funny, the girls are like trying to avoid him, like, oh no, I have girlfriend, but so they're trying to fake like they're like you know, couple like a lesbian, like they're just fake, just to avoid them. Like, no, this is my girlfriend, and then he was like, oh, girlfriend, like
it was just super funny.
And his body language and then his dance, like. Every time he's drunk, only when he gets drunk, and then sometimes
because he's very secluded. He was a lovely guy, well behaved. It's just I think different cultures as well, and that's what you get to know when you get to hostels. Is
and then you exercise your social skill, how to read people. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I really advise hostels. And share house, like I said, is for specific reasons where you really want to be safe, or you've had a traumatic experience in a hostel that happened, which is really rare but can happen. You want to obviously get to a share house, or just get somewhere where you can have your own room, you can lock in stuff. Other than that, hostels are so good. You can meet so many different cultures, learn so many different things. I've tried different type of foods as well from people that cook. There was an Indian guy that used to cook as well, that used to make beautiful foods.
And it smells like
it was just amazing. You just learn different techniques,
and then sometimes we share foods, like they share like the Italian food or like Indian food, and then they're like willingly to give you chance, like, you want some, like, you know, they share their food, you know.
Exactly.
And that Korean guy still want to talk. Sometimes he's looking at your food like like very close, very close, and then like want to touch, and then we always like, no, don't touch my food, and then there's always like no touch. You remember that French guy? you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
French guy. No touch. Yeah. It's just so funny, and then also like now I feel like when after you stay so many times in a hostel, now you stay in a share house or share room, man, it's very extreme, the vibes, and then you feel lonely sometimes because you can always meet. I just don't know, like, just feel people presence, even you don't talk to them. It feels way better than in your own private room by yourself. It's just me.
Yeah,
I think that's one of the biggest difference, because every time, like, let's say my roommates, they're all doing 5-4, right? And then it's just me in my apartment, and it's like, like, I think this is the reason why I struggled, because back in the days when hostel, where sometimes, you know, your friends also doing 5-4, different roster, but there's still some other people, you know, in the hostel that you can just like say hi, just seeing them there, like you don't feel alone. It's just make a big difference for me personally. So I think a bit struggle for me, like after had 1 year and a half for me approximately in or maybe 2 years. Yeah, 2 years in hostel. So yeah, but that's life, you know.
Yeah,
That's
no,
also,
definitely.
there's also I think like part of my journey, part of the experience, and then this is kind of bit like stories that you can tell to your next generation, you know, to
Yeah,
your kids, to your
100%.
grandkids. Let's say, oh, I had this experience, and then let's say when your kids dealing with some certain conflicts or life questions, you have already the answer
Yeah,
because you've had it already. You know what I'm saying? Like if that makes sense,
yeah,
because oh yeah, I know that one because I've been there, I've done that. You know, like okay, so you can be a better role model.
yeah,
Again, like these days, world's just somehow all connected. You know,
exactly.
people can see a lot of stuff on the internet, even they haven't really experienced that. But let's say you've been there because you traveled, you know, like you went from your different background countries, and then now you're staying here, your kids like multicultural or something like that. You've had all these already experience that giving you more how can I say, like answers to a lot of questions where some people like still struggle. You're more rich with this knowledge,
Yeah,
with wisdoms, maybe you can say, yeah, wisdoms, because you can avoid some people mistakes. You don't necessarily experience those stuff. Maybe you saw it, you know, like your friends, like let's say drunk too much, and then they hit themselves, you know, hit the wall or something
yeah,
because you drink too much, and then but you didn't experience it, you know, but you can
yeah.
tell your kids or your grandkids what's the effect of the alcohol.
By the way, don't experience that sort of.
You know, yeah, it's just like please don't. That's like beep. No, don't. But that's my opinion about like hostels.
agree.
It's just like always this burning feeling, like oh, what a great moments, what a great experience. Like
Exactly.
I felt really grateful about these chances. It's like a
Yeah.
blessing, bro.
Definitely, every experience, of course, is very subjective. It's usually your own feelings, you know, that come into it. I'm not sure on your background personally. If you used to being with people and being with sometimes people have big families and they're used to hanging out with a lot of people, and like you mentioned,
Yeah.
being alone can be an issue, which in my case wasn't sometimes so much of an issue. Didn't dealt with a lot of sort of anxiety of being alone or anything else, because I'm used to that.
Okay.
So you know, it's very subjective, and
Yeah.
that's why you know you feel as well in the hostel that people will be there for you regardless. And some people will actually come up to me and, you know, sometimes just check on me, you know, because it's really important. So it teaches you a lot of things, you know, a lot of ethnics.
Oh, yeah.
Also integrity as well, to make sure, you know, that you try to be the most honest person, you know. And
Try to be what?
uh, oh no, pretty much it brings the best out of you, I feel.
Yeah.
Sometimes hostile.
That-
Some people won't be part of that category, but yeah, I think most of the people I've met were nice people, trying to look after anybody that was struggling.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Could be like maybe your family, like because they said like friends is like family that you choose.
Yeah.
You know, because you were born in a family, you can't choose. But then when you've met friends that you like share so many things in common, like you just click, connected,
Correct.
it becomes like your family, and it feels so good.
Yeah.
But again, don't. I think like also that everything that's too much is not good. Like
Yeah.
you know, attachment with friends also. If it's too much to attach, of course, somehow it's gonna break because you know maybe
Yeah.
they have a different purpose, different vision, mission. Maybe you want to stay, maybe they don't want to stay, and then when the separation comes, it breaks your heart too much. You know, like a lot of people like felt like so struggled with those moments. You know, again, but yeah, I think we talked a lot of things already. Yeah, the plus and the minus,
Exactly.
and then from your perspective as well. So I think it's pretty much everything that we could talk. Cause I'm so grateful. Again, before we start this podcast, I didn't know that he's only child, and then you had these social anxiety issues, and then you've been through all this in the hostel. Like, bro, how could you survive? And then how could you even enjoy it? How could you even now become my guest? That's so amazing, man. And it's so
Yeah, it
so,
is.
so
It's a pleasure, definitely,
yeah.
to be your guest.
So appreciated,
so
man.
happy.
Yeah, it gives like so much good impact to my viewers, because the only reason why I want to make this podcast specifically about hostels, again, I always want to spread the good impact about good experience, good message for all those people. Of course, now mainly Indonesian viewers, but there's always opportunities that
Hello, Indonesia.
yeah. So thank you very much, bro, Ryan.
You're welcome.
and-
You're welcome, Luke.
Yeah, good luck with your career and your relationship with your partner. Oh yeah, congratulations! He's now already a official resident in Australia, so it's not a prison anymore in Australia. Yeah.
After a lot of
Struggles.
problems, struggles,
Administrations,
yeah,
and a lot of money as well.
and patience.
Patience.
Too much
much.
patience.
Okay, that's a bit like off topic. But all right, thank you very much as
Thank you
well,
very much.
everyone. Hope these episodes can really give you insights and inspiration. And yep, see you guys on my next episode of my interview. Stay safe, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye bye.